Yo, what is up, guys? Question Games. Welcome back to a brand new video on Final Fantasy 16. I haven't done one of these in so long, since the last preview. I'm pretty sure, maybe even before that. But I made a video on how Kingdom Hearts and 16, have some similar themes going on, and how 16 can be seen as a more mature Kingdom Hearts. And obviously, they're not, universally exclusive to Kingdom Hearts, but it's just very similar thing I noticed in terms of like the marketing and some of the blog posts for things like that. So that's what that video was on. But today we're looking at brand new previews. Final Fantasy 16 coming from people over on YouTube who got to go to an event in London, and also some website stuff or articles on websites like RPG site and stuff. So let's look into that. I just want to talk about that in this video because I haven't talked about 16, and it's getting really close. So I was like, man, we gotta get into that. So first, I want to talk about the gameplay stuff, then I'll talk about the story, information that I got from Final Fantasy Union, and some other things that are going to be in this video. So first, I want to talk about the combat like I said before. So according to Max and some other people, the combat feels really good, but a worry from specifically RPG side and then some others I've seen around, that the combat is more style over substance, where it's like very flashy and looks cool, but it doesn't actually feel good to play, specifically in the icon fights. I'll talk about the icon fights first, then I'll talk about the basic Clive stuff. So icon fights, as we've seen before in multiple videos and even in the state of play that happened recently, Clive becomes Ifrit and you play as Ifrit in battle. The other icons. So we've seen that in this demo that you got to play the first 2 hours of the game. So you got to play as Phoenix, and they also had the section that you could play at the castle, that you fight Benedict at. So those were the two icon fights, and apparently according to James RPG site and VG247, I forget the guy's name, Alex something, that there's a lot of QTEs in these fights that take away from the actual combat of itself, and they compared it to Bayonetta 3, which had a bunch of giant battles, and you don't really do standard combat the whole time. There's QTEs to break it up, and that's an issue for them. It breaks the pace apparently. I think this is your mileage may vary thing. If you like QTEs, then it's not gonna be a problem. If you like QTEs in RE4 or God of War or whatever, and a lot of games have gone away from QTEs, so I'm hoping this game brings the QTEs back, right? I'm hoping this brings QTEs back in a big way, because QTEs aren't inherently bad, and I know people like to say they break up the immersion, but I think QTEs add stuff to the game too. I don't really have a problem with QTEs, so I doubt the QTEs will be a problem with me. And it seems like QTEs aren't the only thing that are involved with boss fights. They talk about how it's just not just icon boss fights, but boss fights in general have QTEs, but it seems like that doesn't really seem like a problem to me in terms of like the footage I've seen, right? I could be wrong, I didn't play, but there's markers on the ground for boss attacks you have to watch out for, and then there's obviously the basic thing that they do, like this head-on attack, you get a block or dodge or whatever. It seems like that's just like the normal action RPG stuff. It seems like Final Fantasy 14 in an action game setting, in my opinion. And that's just from the footage we saw, so I'm not really too worried about that. More so, it seems like it's just like your mileage may vary thing, in terms of like the QTE part of the combat and the icon fights themselves, because the icon fights look like they get a lot better as they go on too, in terms of Ifrit specifically, not really Phoenix, because Phoenix seems like he's gonna play the same in both things you do Phoenix with, but specifically it looks like the Ifrit fights will start off slow when you fight Benedicta, and then as you progress, Ifrit Clive gets a lot faster, more nimble, he control himself more, that type of thing is what it seems like it's gonna be. So I'm excited for the icon fights. I'm not too worried about those. Now let's get to the basic Clive stuff. I almost said Cloud again. I'm excited for Wednesday, man. I'm excited for Wednesday. I'll talk about that at the end of the video, but so Clive has a basic combo that you do, and it doesn't seem like it changes throughout the part that they played. So it's not like Kingdom Hearts where you have the combo modifiers that add onto your square attack the more you do. It seems like your modifiers come with the icons, Phoenix, Garuda, and Titan so far. and each has a cooldown on their specific attacks. But it seems like there's a way to enhance your basic melee combo by adding the element of the icon to it in your basic slashes. So if you like FF8, I guess was what Max compared to, where you have the gun blade. If you time it perfectly, you'll get the gun off, and then you'll be like, "Whoa, there you go." It seems like you can do that with the fire attack. If you press it at the right time, as soon as the attack hits, you can coach your weapon in fire, and you can do an entire fire combo, which sounds very, very cool. And I'm going to assume you can do the other elements too, so that'll be interesting. But each icon has its own special thing going on, and it seems like they each have their own attacks too. Like for Phoenix on the ground with square and X, according to Max, is a stinger. In the air, it's a helm splitter. He didn't say what the others were, but it seems like there's different ones for each character. But when you're in the air, you can also have different icon abilities, like the Garuda claw swipe spin around thing, or the Titan parry block, which blocks the attack at perfect time. You can do the punches type of thing. So it seems there's a lot more going on with this game than surface level thing. It'll be very, very deep in terms of action RPG combat, but you're not getting something like DMC according to everybody else. You're not getting DMC from this, and good in my opinion. You're making an action RPG. I don't think you need to go that far, right? I think there has to be a limit on what you should do in terms of like action RPG combat. So I don't think they should go DMC levels where the low skill ceiling and high skill peak or whatever. I forget the right term for that, but I don't think the ceiling needs to be that high. It's an action RPG, and I prefer when my action RPGs are very easy to get into, and then if you know what you're doing, you can do crazy things like Kingdom Hearts 2, for example, or FF7 Remake. And I'm going to assume the boss fights are examples of that too. You take what you learn from the mob fights, and you go to the boss fights, and you're ready to kick some ass by learning everything you need to know. So I'm excited for the gameplay, man. I'm excited for the gameplay. I think it's gonna look fucking. It looks immaculate. And apparently the attack output for the media was different from what the final game is, and Ryota Suzuki and Yoshi P are like really hammering in that it's like, okay, what you're seeing is not how it actually plays. There's a lot more to it than what you're seeing, and I promise you it's not like that. That's the implication I'm getting from them. So next I'm gonna talk about the game development side of things, and specifically what Takai and Mayhiro say is they want to make sure this game is fantastic, not just good. You can never think this is good. You have to go all out, because not everyone's going to play a game multiple times, and they want their first and only experience, if they go through it one time only, to be perfect. And maybe because it is perfect, they'll come back again, right? They'll come back multiple times. That's games like Persona 3, Persona FF7, the RE game. People come back to those all the time because they're really good. No matter the length, it doesn't matter. But if a game's not that good, they're gonna come back to it once, maybe twice. If it's like just good, it's not going to keep people coming back. It has to be fantastic. So I understand. I get that. I do understand where they're coming from. And that's really cool that they both said that. And I'm very excited. I have a feeling this game's going to be incredible because of that. Because stuff like that. So next, we have to talk about the story. According to... before I get into the actual story bits, one thing Naoki Yoshida's biggest worry for is the story. Because FF15... was sorry. It was a sorry state of a launch, and Royal Edition didn't really fix those issues. And he doesn't want people to go into 16 and be like, wow, this is just as bad as 15. He wants people to go in 16 and be like, oh, this is better than 15, man. Like, this is better than the last mainline game. And that's an issue. Like FF7 Remake, even people who don't like the ending specifically, they like, oh, this is a great story up until that point. And if you love the ending, it's like, it's a fantastic story. Most people love 7 Remake's story. However, the problem with 7 Remake is it's not a mainline title. Like, it has a production value of mainline title, it has the money of a mainline title, but it's not a mainline title. It is the last man on title was 15, and people look at 15 and are like, wow, this is not good. This is not represent Final Fantasy to me. So Yoshi P wants to go in there and make it so, okay, what represents Final Fantasy for you? It's here. This is it. This is Final Fantasy, man. So I'm curious how it'll be. Obviously, not everyone's gonna love this game. It's just the reality of fiction. Not everyone loves something, but if you get a majority of people who love it, majority of people who play it to love it, and specifically the story, you're good. It's Final Fantasy, according to him. He thinks Final Fantasy is a story is a major focus for Final Fantasy, and it seems like they built the story first, then the gameplay around that story, which is interesting approach to it. Which it's a Final Fantasy thing to do, I think. So that should be fun. Okay, so according to Daryl, the story for the first 2 hours is impressive. It's a very impressive opening for a game, and that's the demo we're supposed to be getting, is the first 2 hours. So if you don't want to hear anything else about it, skip to the end of the video or just leave, because that's probably going to be the end of the videos. What I talk about is just gonna be the story stuff. So the story starts with Clive as a slave to Sambrique, and then during the fight with Shiva and Titan, all that stuff, he gets hit by a rock and is knocked back into a flashback. He dreams of the past before everything went down. And there's a lot of good character interactions, a lot of character moments, and a lot of good NPC stuff. According to Daryl from Final Fantasy Union, according to Daryl, the tutorial is woven into the story narrative in a way that's very impressive. Specifically the tutorial fight with his friend. I don't know the guy's name. That was Clive was his friend. Is that there's a training exercise in front of a lot of people, and Clive is very impressive in the tutorial, and people praise him. Joshua Jill praise him. NPCs as you walk around praise him because of this. It's very, very cool according to Daryl, and I'm very excited to try it myself to see. And then there is some stuff with Joshua's mother where she's very disgusted when she sees Clive. The scene where she holds her nose is to show a disgust. She thinks Clive is a stinky peasant or whatever. He's not a real son of the Duke. He's not the real son. He's a I think Clive's a bastard child, if I remember correctly. He's a bastard child, and Joshua's the one who was wed. So she shows very disgusting her mannerisms, her voice, and her facial expressions. A lot of stuff like that is really, really cool. So they're going all out with the story, man. They're going all out. I'm very excited. Of what they're going to do with that. And then also there is the thing with a mission that they go on where they fight the Marlboro. And apparently after that fight and they come home, there's some talks what happened on the mission, and some indication and hints about what happens later on in the rest of this flashback. I won't go too much details, but there's hints in there about what happens later. And there's also other things that are make this very mature. There's a lot of swearing in this section for the story stuff, and some very brutal things happen, and the gameplay is woven into these big story moments very, very well. It's very impressive, and I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see what they go for. And apparently Joshua and Jill and Clive in these first 2 hours feel very real. It feels very real. Their relationship feels very real. Same with the stuff with his dad. So it seems like this first 2 hours are going to be super impressive, and if we get the demo that's those first 2 hours, and it's that meaty in terms of gameplay and story, oh man, this is gonna be a great start to a game. And it's gonna make me debate on the demo too. I'm do I want to play this now and go into my stream? But I could just do it okay, Final 16 part 1, and then come back, and then we're oh well, we're starting from the demo. But I'm super interested in how this will go, and how transitioning into that will feel. I'm very excited. The data carries over too. So if this is the start and we get all this, I'm here, man. I'm here for this demo, and I'm here for the start of this game because everyone's praising it, and they're saying it's very simple. So far, there's not a lot going on in the world yet to make it too what's the word complex, but I'm sure it'll get more complex as it goes on. I don't feel like it's gonna be too as simplified. Not that that's a problem. If it's straightforward, it's fine. But I do like my complexities in my Final Fantasy. So we'll see. Also, side quests are pretty basic so far. I'm not surprised about that, to be honest, but I'm sure they'll get more complex as it goes on. According to IGN, there's a lot of dungeons and corridors, which is surprising because I thought Yoshi P said there wouldn't be, but I guess he meant that there won't just be stuff you'll find randomly and that's all involved in the side quest. So I'm interested in how the dungeons are going to be. Very interested in how those dungeons are going to be. They're like very corridory, according to me. So I don't know how people feel about that, but I don't mind myself. So we'll see. We'll see about that. Last but not least, another gameplay thing is the RPG elements are kind of low right now where they are. Like there's crafting, but you can't do much with it. There is a skill tree similar to DMC, more so than the spear grid, which is interesting to hear. So it seems like it's very, very much built around what Ryota Suzuki knows, more so than like what Square Enix is known for, which is fine. I think it'll be good because Dragon's Dogma was also by him, and that was an RPG, dude. Like it wasn't super DMC like. They didn't betray what you would know about that stuff. So we'll see. I think it'll still be RPG like. I think people are worrying a little too much saying there's no RPG elements. I was hoping that they would show off more of that in this demo, but it seems like they were like scared at last minute, like, okay, we can't do too much, right? That's what it feels like, because they said this would be an RPG one, but it's not really. So I'm wondering if people asking on the June 11th. People might ask about that on June 11th, but we'll see. We'll see. So that's all there is to the previews. I've been talking for a good amount of time, like 20 minutes. Thank you guys so much for listening to me ramble among this unscripted. I'm very excited for this game. I assume you are too if you're watching this video. I wish I got to go myself and talk about it to you guys, but I'm not big enough yet. Maybe I will be one day for the next Final Fantasy, but we'll see. Last but not least, off topic about 16, but I'm very excited for the PlayStation Showcase. I will be uploading a video of me watching the showcase from my Twitch, maybe. If I get to stream it. If I don't, then it's going to be up on the channel. But I'm excited because I'm assuming Final Fantasy VII Rebirth will be there. I got a good feeling. Some people are saying, I don't think it'll be there because 16 will be there, but I don't. They then stopped them from showing 16, 7 Rebirth and Crisis Core Reunion last year, literally right after they showed that 16 was coming back. Like, it was literally right after. So we got a nice, healthy meal of Final Fantasy. And I don't think it's going to stop it this time either. I think we're getting both. I think we're getting both in the same amount of time. People are saying we aren't. There's no leaks or anything that say that we are. So it's all up to chance right now. So, I guess we'll see. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope 7 Rebirth is there. I hope everyone enjoys the PlayStation Showcase if you watch it. And if you want to see my reaction, then I'll upload that too. Thank you guys so much for watching. And peace from Quincy Games, everybody. Have a good day.